All right, so let's just have a quick look here at the syllabus. First off, probably about the most important box here is, barring the stuff that actually tells you what to do from day to day in the course, is right here on the front page, instructor contact information. A couple of points I want to make quickly. One, right, okay, you see my office hours are 11 to 2, Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30 to 2. Those are the times that I have to be in the office. They are not the only times that I can be in the office. So if you want to talk to me about something, like if you need my help going over a draft, or you have some issue with the class you want to discuss, or at some point I am going to want to meet with each of you to go, to sort of assess where we are in the semester, right? So if you can't do that during my regular office hours, we can arrange other times, right? Now, if you need to contact me, my office, by the way, is right across the hall here. It's 239. If you go down the first of these little pods, it's the second closet on the right. So if you do need to get in touch with me, the best way to do so is via the email address here on the syllabus. In fact, the only way to do so is via the email address that I have listed on the syllabus, right? I know that there's an email widget in Georgia View. I never check that email, so don't try to contact me through that. Just go into Radar, send me a direct email at this address, right? michael.moyer@gsw.edu, right? Not that hard to remember, right? So yeah, please always make sure that you email me directly if you need to contact me. Okay. So there are two required textbooks for this course, right? The one we're going to be using first is Writing Analytically by Jill Stephen, David Rosenwasser. And then later in the semester, we're going to be using the Siegel Book of Literature. It's 3 volumes, but it's pretty cheap. I chose this set mostly because it has everything I need and it's fairly inexpensive, okay? So if you don't yet have a copy of Writing Analytically and aren't going to be able to get one by Wednesday, I have photocopies here of the first chapter so that everybody can do the assignment for Wednesday, right? If it's going to be a problem for you to get the textbooks, if affording them is an issue, or any other such thing, come talk to me and we'll try to figure something out, right? Whether you share with a classmate or whatever, right? We'll figure out some way that everybody gets access to all the textbooks, right? I don't want anybody sitting here with no materials in front of them. So yeah, like I said, if this is your situation, please come let me know, right? I can't help if I don't know. Right. As far as your grade, and please remember too that you are expected to bring whichever textbook we're working with to class, right? So if we're working from this stuff, I'm expecting you to bring this book to class. All right, so as far as your grade is concerned, and if at any point any of you have questions, just stop me, okay? You're going to do 2 papers in this class. So the first is going to be a response to a question that I will give you, right? I'll give you a prompt with a question, and you're going to be using sources that I have also given you to construct an argument. The second paper is going to be an independent researched argument on either a story, a poem, or a play that we've read at some point in the semester. Right, so you will be going out and finding sources yourself for that. We'll be doing a session in the library to help you with that. And I am also available to help you with research if need be. But that is some time in the future. So participation is also going to be 10% of your grade, right? So I want to hear from you, right? I want you to actually please speak up in class. You're also going to be doing frequent short papers, right? So when we are reading philosophy towards the middle of the semester, you're going to be writing short reflections on the philosophy essays that I'm giving you to read. Those are going to be worth 4 points each, so total of 20 points. And you'll be doing the same for the literary readings we're doing towards the end of the semester, right? The point of both of those assignments, which we'll talk about in more detail as you get closer to having to do them, is to help you build up to the longer papers, right? You're going to work towards the longer paper in small doses. Right, homework is 10% of your grade, so there'll be 5 assignments, all of them in writing analytically, each worth 2 points. Now, I do not accept late work. Everything has to be in on time. So all of your work is going to be uploaded to folders in GeorgiaView, which open on the day we talk about that assignment in class and close the day the assignment is due at 11:59 p.m., right? So all work must be done by the time the folder closes in order to be accepted. No excuses, no exceptions. Mostly because I'm tired of chasing people down for late assignments, and I'm tired of people just not doing things and then several weeks later asking me if they can make it up. No, you cannot. Right? You have to do everything when it's due. Okay. Right. So, policies. We do have an attendance policy in this class, right? So even though I am, going to be posting video of the class to a YouTube channel, right? I do still expect you to be here, right? The video is not a substitute for coming to class. What can you do in class that you can't do with the video?
Ask questions.
Yeah, you can ask questions, right? You can speak up, right? You can offer comments, right? You can engage in the class in ways that you can't with the video, right? I want you talking to me, I want you talking to each other. So, you get 3 free absences, right? That's it. 3 absences. Think of them as like personal days at a job. You get 3, right? Bringing me doctor's notes doesn't earn you more. So make sure that when you miss class, you're doing so for good reasons. And, I'm not completely inflexible on this, right? So if you have a family issue or a medical emergency or something like that that's going to require you to be out for a while, right, just come talk to me, right? Let me know as soon as you know this is going to be an issue. And once again, we'll work something out, right? We'll figure out some way that you can, remain in the class and continue. All right. Also, I waited a couple of minutes to start today because not everybody was here, and it's day 1 and people get confused or exuberant or whatever and just don't show up. But in general, I am going to start promptly at 2. If you are not here when I start, you will be marked late. 3 tardies will equal 1 absence, and I'm not going to go back and repeat myself, right? So be here at 2, right? Be here on time. Okay, so if you have a disability that would entitle you to any accommodations in this class, right? That's fine, no problem, but I'm not the person you tell. You're going to want to go talk to Evelyn Oliver in Disability Services. She's in, is it McCarran Hall, the big one in the middle, right? On the 3rd floor, because it absolutely makes sense to put disability services on the 3rd floor of the building. But yeah, wasn't my idea. So what they will do is send me a letter with your name and the accommodations that you are supposed to receive, right? So it's usually things like extra testing time or quiet testing rooms or things like that, right? They will never tell me what your disability is because it isn't any of my business, right? So I sign the forms, I agree to give you the accommodations, and everybody's happy. So if you need any of those accommodations, right, get that taken care of sooner rather than later so that we can sort of start giving you what you need right away. Okay, have any of you used the university? How many of you are first semester freshmen? Okay, that's actually not that many of you. Okay, great. So how many of you who have been here a little while have used the University Writing Center before? Okay, so one thing to note, the Writing Center has moved. And I forgot to change that on the syllabus. So just note that the Writing Center is now on the 1st floor of the library. They are not in the ACE building anymore. No one is in the ACE building anymore because the air conditioner doesn't work. So I will generally give extra credit to students who go to the Writing Center for help with an assignment. Right? So you take your paper to the Writing Center, they send me an email that says, you know, Emily was here and we talked about blah, blah, blah. And you get half a letter grade bump on the paper, right? So say that C+ paper becomes a B-, so on and so forth. Yeah, so it's generally going to be worth your while to go to the Writing Center. In part because, in part because you will have a better paper after the process is over, but also because you will get extra points, right? And these are good things. Okay, I should also mention something about academic dishonesty policy here. So the first time I receive a piece of dishonest work from anybody, that piece will be graded a 0, right? So not necessarily crippling with some of the small assignments, but the second time I catch someone plagiarizing, it's just automatic failure of the course, right? Now, I will also always send a report, even if it's the first offense, over to the student conduct office, because I'm tired of giving people second chances and getting burned. So 3 reports of academic dishonesty, and you're suspended from the university, right? So don't take that risk. Let me briefly go over with you too what constitutes academic dishonesty for this class, right? So 1, any form of unattributed copying, right? So if you use someone else's language or ideas and do not cite a source, that's plagiarism, right? Even if you didn't mean to do that, right? Cutting and pasting from the internet counts towards this, so does paraphrasing somebody else's ideas and not citing them, right? Any idea or language you take from someplace else has to be cited. Now, is it possible to plagiarize yourself?
Yes.
Yes, it is, right? So all assignments must be original to this class. So if you've taken this class or a similar class before, you cannot resubmit assignments that you did in previous semesters. Everything you do for this class has to be new, right? This all has to be your own work, it all has to be new work. So any questions about academic dishonesty or plagiarism? Everything perfectly clear? Okay, great. Okay, so you saw my little statement about electronics here, right? All cell phones, computers, whatever, have to be put away as soon as you enter the classroom. Now, I am not just trying to be a middle-aged asshole who hates all the things that young people love and resents you for your youth and enthusiasm and all that, right? That's part of it, but it's not the major reason. So I want you to put your electronics away because, like, what does your phone or a computer basically do, right? What does it connect you to? Everything outside of this room, right? So if you have that phone sitting on your desk, you're not thinking about what's going on right here. You're thinking about, the plans you made for later, or, is my mom going to call me, right? Or do I have to go blow up Aunt Susie's stump this Saturday, right? You're thinking about things going on out there. You're not thinking about things that are going on in here. And the reason I want you to just sort of come in, sit down before class a few minutes early, and just disconnect from all of that is so that you can actually be really fully present in this room, right? Now, I will also note that, like, don't just put your phone in your lap. I will notice if you are staring down at your crotch for extended periods of time, right? That's weird. It's creepy. Don't do that. But yeah, I mean, this also, like, it gives you an opportunity to do other stuff, right? There are plenty of other things you could be doing rather than looking at your phone, right? Productive things. So try doing those things instead of staring at your phone. Okay. Last two issues before we start actually talking about class material. Okay, so Title IX and sexual discrimination. I have a statement here in my syllabus about this. Essentially, to boil all this down, right, if any of you were to come to me and tell me about an incident of harassment or discrimination that you've experienced, I have to tell the campus Title IX coordinator. Right? I'm legally obligated to tell the campus Title IX coordinator. Right? I can't hold these things in confidence. I would be breaking the law if I did that. I'm not saying don't come to me if you need this kind of help with something, right? I can point you in the direction of resources, but do know that if you tell me these things, I have to report them. It can't just be between us. And the last thing to note on the syllabus here, right, I have put in a statement about campus carry. This is the USG boilerplate statement. I am not allowed to directly discuss this or answer any questions about it. Right, so if you want information about the law, there are links here posted on the syllabus which will tell you all about the law. If I if I don't give you the right information, it opens the university up to lawsuits and things like that, and they don't want that. So I can't say anything about it. But that's where you can go for more information. Okay, any questions about any policies, anything like that? We're good? Everybody cool? Okay, so I want you for a second to go to those little information sheets that I had you fill out while we were waiting for class to start. And I want you to look at and think about the answer you provided for the sort of third big question down, right? What I think are my strengths and weaknesses as a writer. How many of you think you're pretty good writers? Okay, I see a lot of How many of you struggle with writing a little bit? It's okay if you do. Okay, yeah, freely admit. Okay, most of you struggle with writing a little bit, right? So the one thing that I want to stress before we really begin the work in this course is that writing is a learned skill. Nobody's born a great writer. And if you don't think you're a strong writer now, that doesn't mean that you never will be. But, like anything else, it takes practice, which is one of the reasons why there are so many small assignments in this class. And it takes feedback, right? So everything you turn in to me, I will be commenting on with an eye towards helping you get better, right? The goal is to try to give you practice to help build confidence, right? And to help build competency. So if you feel like you're a weak writer now, hopefully by the end of the course you won't feel that way anymore. You'll at least feel a little bit more confident in your abilities. Now, the key really to being a good writer, right? The basis for everything is to learn to be good at observation. right? To pay attention to minute details and to be able to make meaning out of them. So, to start here, right? Victoria, yes? Did you notice anything unusual on your way to class today?
No. I was looking at my phone all the time.
Okay, right, so here's an object lesson, right? And putting the phone away now and again. Okay, what about Kerensky?
This way.
You're Kerensky, right? And which one you are? Yes. What was your name?
Jared.
Jared. Okay, Kerensky. Since you're the name I called, did you notice anything unusual on your way to class today?
Not really. The sound of students standing outside, that's about it.
Okay. So you saw a lot of students standing outside, right? More so than usual?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try and dig a little deeper here. What kinds of expressions did they have on their faces? What sorts of things were they doing?
They were looking for where to go. I heard someone say they were looking for career services. I guess everybody else was looking for that class.
Okay, so you heard people saying that they're looking for this department, this office, right? And you saw people kind of milling about looking confused, right? So the conclusion you would draw from this about this unusual number of students outside, like, who are these students?
Freshmen were white.
Exactly, yeah. So through observations, right, you can draw a conclusion about these people you're observing, right? Okay. More people than usual standing around. They're asking about, places that everybody else knows where they are. I hope. They have confused looks on their faces. Yeah, these must be first day freshmen. Okay, let's try something a little bit bigger and more complicated here, right? What I want you to do is start looking around the room. And I want you, just take 5 minutes to do this, to write down observations about objects in the room, things that are actually part of the room, right? Not things that we brought in with us. Right? Things that actually belong in the room. Look at what objects are here, where they are in relation to each other, the general condition of said objects, right? Don't try to draw any conclusions about them, just observe, right? Take 5 minutes to do it. Just write down everything you see. If you think you've run out of stuff, just keep looking, keep writing. About another 30 seconds. Okay, what have you got?
So that you can tell it's an older classroom.
Okay, dial that back a little bit, right? How can you tell it's an older classroom? Give me the details to tell us that.
You can see like how many holes there are in the bulletin and the
Okay.
older features are there.
Okay. All right. Got a holy bulletin board. Okay, what else suggests that the classroom is old? What's that?
Dirty floors.
Okay, dirty floors. What else?
What is that called?
Pardon? The screen, yeah.
You know, usually everybody, most teachers, we have whiteboards. Like,
Uh-huh.
ones, on a projector, one they can draw on.
Like smart boards, yeah. Yeah, no smart board here, right? It's just dry erase boards. You should go down to the end of the hallway. There's a room with the actual chalkboards. So you got dry erase boards, no smart boards.
The walls are all scratched up.
Okay, walls are scuffed. Okay, good. What else here? What else suggests the room is old?
Some of the desks have like some wear and tear on them.
Okay. Desks are worn, good. All right, anything else that suggests, age or wear and tear?
Perhaps the structure of the room.
Okay, what about the structure of the room, Jimmy?
For example, those windows back there, the structure, how they get it in the middle, is not really associated to modern structure.
Okay, yeah, this building was built, this building was built before the Americans with Disabilities Act, so there's no elevator. That's good times. Yeah, we can also see too that, like, if you look at those two windows, are they even? They're both kind of dipping in a little bit, right? Which suggests that the foundation of the building is settling. So that's great. I never noticed that before. Shit. All right. Wonderful. Yeah, so the architectural style is old-fashioned. All right, what else? Anything else that suggests age here? Cracked window.
The wall.
Oh, so we get more signs of the foundation settling, yeah. Great. Great big crack in the wall.
Maybe where there was a previous board or something wrong, where it hasn't been repainted. And it's like,
Oh yeah, you're right. We can see another layer of wall underneath the current wall, right?
oh yeah, I was talking about like right there to the left of
Right
the
there with
board.
the damage.
Oh yeah, we got right that. Yeah,
So probably another board in
yeah. So yeah, we got wall damage. We got another wall underneath this wall. So yeah, okay. I think we've got enough here to say yes that this room has probably not been updated in a while, right? So what we've done here, right? We took that kind of general principle that you start. What's your name?
Carly.
Carly, that Carly started with, right? That the room looks old. And from that, right, we sort of pulled all of this evidence that the room is old, right? So we call this kind of process deductive reasoning. Right, so deductive reasoning is when you start from a general principle or idea and you work backwards to specifics, right? Now, I'm going to show you a little bit of the opposite process here as well, which is going to be in general more useful for most of the work you're doing as college students, right? The opposite process we call inductive reasoning. And if deductive reasoning means that you're going from the general to the particular, then logically speaking, what would inductive reasoning do? How would that work?
Specifics to the idea.
Right, you generate an idea from looking at specific evidence, right? Specific pieces of evidence. So, I'm going to point out to you a couple of things in the room that don't quite seem to fit the old, worn, and torn idea that we've been discussing, right? What do we notice up here?
Projector.
Yep, nice shiny new projector, right? And what do we have right up here where I stand? Yep, a computer smart card, right? Now, one of the things that makes these things interesting, right, is that they don't look like anything else in the room. So, if we're just looking at the physical structure of the room, right, how might we draw a conclusion about the level at which the administration values the English department? Not enough to give us a new paint job or fix the walls or, new desks or even a friggin' elevator, right? So this would suggest that, our physical building here ranks pretty low on the list of administration concerns, right? And this is just an exercise, right? I'm not, hoping that all of you are going to go complain to administration, about the state of the English department, right? We're just doing an observation exercise here, right? Now, what about, though, these brand new, shiny technological objects? What do they suggest about the administration's values or expectations?
They value the department to a certain degree.
What, pardon?
Should they value each department to a certain degree?
To a certain degree, right? Enough to put like shiny new toys in the building, right? But not enough to fix the physical structure. So we can reason inductively, putting these things together, that the administrative priority is a kind of shiny technological band-aid over an underlying structural problem, right? We have this nice fancy new tech in the rooms, but it doesn't solve the problem that the building is in shit shape, right? Now, we can do another kind of inductive reasoning exercise if we look at the way the room is set up, right? What do you notice about the desks?
Facing that way?
Everything's facing that way, right? Everything is facing towards this whiteboard. We have another whiteboard over there, right? But there's a whole row of desks in front of it. And what about the physical characteristics of these particular desks, apart from the way they're facing? Are these, super light and convenient and easy to move? They're kind of heavy and noisy if you try to move them, right? So if I wanted to arrange this classroom differently, right? If I wanted to put in a circle where everybody's facing each other, how easy would it be to do that? It would be at least like a mild to moderate pain in the ass, right? So given that the desks are kind of heavy and they're all facing this way, what else do we notice is facing this way?
Projector screen.
Projector's facing this way, the screen is up here, right? The smart card is up here. So how then are the people who designed this room, or at least furnished it, expecting me to teach? What are they expecting me to do with you? Pardon?
Teach up front.
That I'm going to teach up front, right? And so what style of teaching?
Lecture.
Yeah, lecture style teaching, right? This room is set up for me to kind of stand up here and pontificate, right? The, sage on a stage thing. It's not really set up very well if we wanted to sort of have a more democratic kind of classroom setup, right? Where everybody's looking at each other. So, all right, we're gonna try something a little bit different now. We're gonna be moving along similar lines here, but what I want you to do is take a couple minutes and make observations about me, right? Make observations about my appearance, about the way I move, the way I speak, whatever, right? But the one thing I'm going to say, one, I'm a big boy, you're not going to hurt my feelings, so just if you observe something, be honest, right? I'm not going to be insulted. Two, don't try to interpret anything yet, right? So one of the first things students usually say when I try this exercise with them is, you're married. It's like, well, okay, how do you know? Because I'm wearing a ring on the ring finger of my left hand, right? So that's the information I want from you, right? If you start to come to what sounds like an interpretation, right, dial it back and think about the detail that led you to that interpretation, right? All right, so take 5 minutes, go. Should probably stand where I'm more visible. Two minutes. Okay, what do you got?
Long hair.
Okay, long hair. For some reason, that's always first. Okay, what else?
Facial hair.
Okay, yep, I have a beard. That's always second. Keep going.
Dress casual, but with the tennis shoes instead of like dress shoes.
Okay, yep.
I guess it kind of starts more and it goes down as it
All
goes.
right, so the further down we go, the more casual I get.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm wearing a dress shirt, right?
Can we include actions too?
Oh, absolutely.
For the fact that you're standing and we're sitting and we're silent and you're talking.
Okay, I'm standing. And most of the time, at least today, it's me talking, right? Okay. Yeah.
Your body language doesn't seem like, you seem pretty comfortable, you're not like, you don't give off like a defensive or like aggressive. You were when you're doing like this, that's just because you were being observed, but like, you don't, like right now, you don't seem like you're
Okay.
pretty comfortable.
So, again, so dial the comfortable thing back a little bit. Like, what specifically suggests that I feel comfortable? I know this is kind of a hard one. Yeah.
You were willing to add profanity around us, either to add humor or.
Okay. Yeah, I'm yeah, I swear. I have a mouth like a sailor.
Don't
Yes.
do it.
Oh, go ahead. And then you can go. Yes.
You say pause,
Pardon?
like you say pause when you speak, like you don't keep the top of your face or whatever.
Okay, I pause in my speech. Okay, good. And then what were you going to say?
You talk with your hands.
Okay. All right, good. Keep going.
You like organization,
What suggests that I like organization?
all the organized stuff on the table.
Okay, yeah, all of my handouts and everything are organized in neat little piles. You should see my office. All right, what else do you observe?
You have a pen and a pencil.
Okay, yeah. Pen and pencil in pocket. Forgot about that. Okay, good. What else? Yes, Joseph.
I think you have like some sort of scar on your right cheek.
Okay, yeah, like a little mole on my cheek. Yeah, okay. A minute observation. How do you even see that from back there? What else? Okay, I have an accent. Well, everybody has an accent, right? What's unusual about mine?
But it's not southern.
Okay, non-Southern accent, right? Yeah, okay, good. What else?
You use a camera to record the lecture.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, Joseph.
For getting technical, like the left part of your hair is a little bit, and you have a part of your hair.
Okay.
Might be showing a little bit of gray hair.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. Okay, so I have a weird part in my hair. And a little bit of gray in my beard, yes. Okay, good. All right, so we got a pretty good list of stuff here. So what I would like you to do is, from this list of information, right, choose details that seem to you to be actually meaningful to figuring out either what sort of person I am or what sort of instructor I am, right? So you're going to try to put some of these together in clusters to try to figure out, to try to draw conclusions about me, okay? Inductive reasoning. And when you think you've got something, go ahead and say it. But remember, you're also going to have to provide the evidence for it. And once again, don't worry about insulting or offending me, right? I'm a big boy and my feelings are not easily hurt.
You could assume that you value knowledge or of giving knowledge
Okay.
because you will use swear to humor us to grab our attention when you talk with your hands, causing us to pay attention. But also, due to the fact that you use a camera, it shows that you want us to get the information, whether if we're not all the way here or another time, you can still get the information.
Okay, so I do a lot of things in class that draw your attention to me, right? Is there a less charitable way we could interpret that? Using these same details. So you're interpreting as like that I value imparting knowledge to you, right? Is there another negative way that we could interpret the same details?
Could say that you have an ego, like a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using the same evidence, right? Right, this is the very same things that could suggest that I'm a narcissist, right? That I want your attention on me all the time, right? So in order to figure out which way to interpret those details, right, you would need to observe me in context a little bit more, right? The point I'm trying to make here, right, is that the same details can be used to draw different conclusions depending on context, right? And depending on the angle from which you're looking at something. Okay, good. Anybody else? Good. Yeah, good start.
So that you can tell that you like discussion. So you ask us a lot of questions and you keep us involved.
Okay. The fact that I ask you a lot of questions suggests that I value your input,
Yeah.
and that I want you talking to. Okay, great. What else?
I said that the pen and pencil in your pocket, how you organize your desk, how you send
Uh-huh.
out an early email, and you get your syllabus in class suggests that you like to be organized.
Okay, good. Yeah. So all of that suggests that at the very least I have my shit together for the first day, right? Just wait and see how the rest of this goes. All right. Anybody else?
Tennis shoes suggest that you're on your feet a lot all day.
Okay. Yeah. If I was wearing dress shoes, right, it'd be pretty friggin' uncomfortable to be standing around all day. So yes, I'm dressed for comfort rather than for fashion, right?
Which can also suggest that you're comfortable in yourself. You don't feel like you need to, and the hair also. And the beard.
Okay. What else you got? Anything else?
Can we say, like, when you were talking about the syllabus, how
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about past experiences, the reason
Mhm.
policies are the way they are? You can
Uh-huh.
tell that you've been, an instructor for, it's not like your first time.
Right. Okay, the fact that I make reference to things that have happened in semesters past, right, suggests, right, that I'm not a newbie, right, that I am experienced. Okay, good. Now, a couple of things here, like, somebody noted the non-Southern accent. I'm just curious, where do you guys think I'm from?
I think you're from around here, you just don't.
So you think I'm somebody who's from around here, but had the accent educated out of him or something? Anybody? What about the rest of you? Where do you guys think I'm from? Just listening to my voice.
The Midwest.
Okay, you guys are going with the Midwest.
Probably not.
Well, if it was the Midwest, I'd probably be talking a little bit more like this, don't you? At least the upper Midwest, Yeah. I'm actually from Northeast Pennsylvania. How many of you have ever seen The Office? Okay, Scranton? That's where I'm from. It's a real place, and it's just as awful as the show makes it seem. Okay, so last thing we're going to do today, right? We're going to do a similar exercise, but we're going to do it on a painting, right? I'm going to show you a painting, and we're going to try to pick apart the details of that painting to come up with an interpretation. Mostly, right, the idea here is to show you what I want you doing for tonight's homework assignment. Did everybody get the email I sent, by the way, with the 3 images to choose from, right? Please make sure you use one of those 3 images. And there are 2 other things that I want you to keep in mind as you're doing the homework, right? You're essentially going to do it in 2 parts. Right, part 1, I want to see your list of observations and the conclusions you draw from them. Right, you can actually find an example of that in the textbook. Right, it's page 34 where they do the analysis of the Whistler's Mother painting. Try to put together something like this, right? Like this table. And the second part, right, you are going to do a write-up of your analysis, right, that explains how you're coming to your conclusion, coming to your interpretation about the painting based on the evidence, right? And this should be about 250 words. And it'll be clear when you go into Georgia View where to upload the assignment. Right? It'll be in the homework folder, and it'll be the very first one. If you are at all confused about where to upload it, then please just contact me and I'll try to explain in clearer detail, right? All right, so just to give us a little practice here, I have an image to show you. Right, it's a painting by an early 20th century Mexican artist named Diego Rivera. And the painting is called The Intellectuals. Okay, just so we can see this, could somebody get those back blinds? Could somebody shut those for us? Just so that everybody can see the image. Great, thank you very much. Okay, so when we look at this painting, how many groups of people do we see? 2 groups of people, right? And how are these groups differentiated from each other?
Dress.
Okay, dress is a big part of it, right? Give me a little bit more detail here. How is the top group dressed?
They're wearing like their colorful things and like sombreros.
Yeah, they're wearing sombreros, work clothes. They're wearing straps of bullets too, right?
Oh, those are
And what sorts of things are they holding?
Guns.
One of them's got a gun, right?
Looks like a hammer.
Another guy's got a hammer, and another guy's got a sheaf of wheat, right? So what conclusions then can we draw based on these observations about who these guys are supposed to be?
Like kind of hostile.
Yeah, okay. What else would suggest to you that they're kind of hostile, Kerensky?
I mean, maybe he got bullets.
Yeah, the fact that they're armed,
And the facial expression.
the facial expressions suggest kind of sneering and threat, right? How are they related to these other figures then in the picture? How are they behaving towards these other figures?
They're directing the threat towards them.
Yeah, the threat is towards these other figures in the front, right? So I think, yeah, this seems to be a working class group, right? What else do we notice that differentiates this group from this group?
It's like the
people in the back.
they're like they're in the background, they're outside, like they're outside a window or something.
Okay, it's like, yeah, they're looking in, right?
And then they're standing in the back working.
Yeah, they've all got working hats on, working clothes, and their skin tones are also much darker, right? The people in the foreground are much paler. Now, if we look at the foreground here as well, what do we notice about these people? What kinds of objects do they have?
Sitting on an elephant.
Okay, yeah, this guy's sitting on a white elephant, right?
The other guy's throwing books.
One got a quill.
One guy's sitting on a pile of books. Yeah, the guy sitting on the elephant is holding a quill pen, right?
Middle one's hat's a funnel.
Yeah, you got a guy wearing a funnel and holding up what looks like a wand, right? And what about this guy over here?
He looks right. Really high.
Yeah, he's holding a harp, right?
And the other person singing.
And then somebody else is singing, right? So what sorts of activities are we supposed to associate the people in the foreground with? Pardon?
Being educated.
Like you see saying he play hard, it sound like.
Yeah. So music, literature, right?
Arts.
The arts, yeah. We got people here who are being associated with the arts. And these guys are looking at them, right? Who are these people looking at? The man in the middle is looking right at us, right? What about these four?
They're not making eye
Dude with the
contact.
heart, he look-
Yeah.
he looking at us too.
Yeah, well, his eyes are actually closed. Both of these figures have their eyes closed. This guy's wearing glasses and looking down, right? And this guy's got his back to us. So what's the suggestion that the painting is making about artists and intellectuals?
I'm sorry.
They're not aware of the scheme going on behind them.
Okay, yeah, they have no idea what these other guys are planning, right? And do they seem to be much engaged with the world around them?
No.
They're just kind of, yeah, sort of in their own airy little pursuits, right? Playing their harps, writing their poems, singing their songs, not paying much attention to anything else, except this guy right here looking right out at us. But who's the most ridiculous figure in the painting? Yeah, he's the most absurd, right? We got this wizard-looking dude with a long white beard and a funnel on his head holding up some kind of baton. So what that the only person making eye contact in this painting is so ridiculous, right? What's the overall takeaway from the painting? We've drawn a couple of small conclusions here, right? What do you think the painting's overall attitude towards the intellectual class is? Okay. So you think the painting is on the side of these guys in the back?
Yeah, it look like they about to attack them. Yeah, I guess he looking at it like he know what's going on.
Yeah, okay, so there does seem to be a certain level of hostility on the part of the painting towards these people, right? So we figured this out by noticing a pattern, right? These people may not be looking at us, but they are at least paying attention to something going on around them. And they're clearly not happy with this group here. This group here is paying attention to nothing. And it's just, kind of retreating into their own private worlds. But even as ridiculous as all of these figures looked, right? The one figure in the painting making a human connection with us is this silly little man in the middle. And that's one thing that you always have to take note of when you're looking at art, right? Like, where are figures' eyes directed? Who's looking at who? Which figures are actually engaging directly with you? Because that often gives you some suggestion as to where the artist's sympathies lie. So, Rivera seems to have no problem making these people look ridiculous, right? But the fact that the only person making eye contact with us is Little Wizard Guy suggests at least some level of sympathy for these people who are apparently about to get shot and hammered, right? that, maybe what they do is silly, but it's not entirely without human value, right? So you see how I've used details in the painting to come up with a kind of reading of it? This is what I want you to do with one of those 3 images that I shared over email with you, right? Now, is there anybody who needs a copy of the chapter? Okay, so if you need a copy of the chapter, just keep your hand up and I will come around to you. Now, I can only do this probably for the first 2 chapters, so make sure that you get your hands on the textbook, right? And if you can't, let me know and we will try to accommodate you some other way. Because there's only so much I can photocopy without running afoul of law. All right, is that everybody who needs this? Okay, and so the assignment that I've just explained to you how to do, right, is on the last page of this. Right, assignment 3, analyzing a visual image. If you actually have the book, it's on page 37. All right, so you are free to go. Please leave the little information sheets that you filled out, like up on this front table with the camera here, as you go. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Oh, one more thing. Remember, drop add, right? If you are not yet registered for this class and you need to add it, you have to do so by Wednesday. If you want to drop the class and not have it ever appear in your transcript, you have to do so by Friday. Okay? All right. See you Wednesday.
This assignment is due